So it's here, the new Tesla update 2024.14.8. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything that's new. And if you have a Tesla like mine, the 2021 or older, there's a load of things missing. So let's go over it in this video. Hey, welcome to the video, and if you're new here, consider subscribing if you have a Tesla Model 3 or a Tesla Model Y. Now, this update is finally rolling out across the UK. I've tried to make this video a few times, but every time I've gone to update the car, the update has been pulled. I think there's been quite a few bugs in this update. So I'm going to run through everything that's new in this release, including a few things that are not documented. So let's jump into it. So first of all, unfortunately, if you own a Tesla Model 3 2021 or older and some 2022 models, and you have the Intel Atom processor, you're going to be missing a lot of features, and it's got me worried. I mean, this car isn't really that old, and already we're starting to see some big features missing from our Teslas. The big feature that I really wanted was this new visualization that I, of course, can't show you on my own car, but I'll put a screenshot up here. It just looks so good. But unfortunately, this new visualization actually needs the newer processors in the car. So if you want to check out what processor your car has, all you do is hit the car menu, go down to software, and then hit additional vehicle information. And then here you will see it says Intel Atom, and that means unfortunately we have a slightly older processor which can't apparently handle some of the processing and graphics needed to run this new version. So unfortunately for you, those of you who are watching who own, say, a 2023 or newer Tesla Model 3, I'm not going to be able to show you everything that's new in these updates. I will talk about them, but I'll show you what's new in this one. So this is especially helpful if you have a 2021 or older. So let's get into it. So the one thing we do get, which has been brought over, are the new buttons here. A little bit bigger, a little bit easier to see and to control your radio, and you can get straight into your audio settings as well by tapping right here. Now, if you saw my previous video where I reviewed the Tesla Model 3 Highland, I'll put that video up here, you'll know that that car doesn't have ultrasonic sensors, and so Tesla used Tesla Vision Parking. Now, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's definitely not terrible. It works quite well, but it gives you kind of like this cloud formation, a 3D modeling of your parking. Now, some people either love it or hate it, but if you have a car with the USS ultrasonic sensors, you can now turn this on if your car is newer than 2021. You also need to have the AMD processors. So check out if that's your car. If it is, you can switch this on from your settings. Simply go to Autopilot, Park Assist, and Tesla Vision, and you should see the new setting in there. So handy to play around with if you want to see what that looks like. Next up, a quick mention for the Audible app that's been added right here. I do use Audible occasionally, especially if I'm on a long journey, so it's nice to see that's been added. Okay, so we all love Sentry Mode. It's a super handy feature in a Tesla that records all the way around. So if someone breaks into your car, you can instantly get a recording of it. But up until now, you haven't been able to actually instantly live view it. So if someone's been breaking into your car, you can put on the live view. It's a little bit delayed and the thing may have already happened. Now you can get a preview of the Sentry Mode activation from the Tesla app. This is a big win and something I've been asking for a long time. So I'm so glad it's here. Oh, and for that one, you will need premium connectivity for that to work. Something that everyone gets is this new trip progress bar. This is a new blue bar that pops up at the bottom underneath your kind of turn-by-turn directions. And this is handy. This shows you your progress throughout a journey. It also shows you where you're going to come up against some traffic or complete hold-up. So I like that. It's a nice new feature to have. Next up is Spotify. We now have the ability to add to a queue, and we get to change playback speed. If you're like me, when you listen to a podcast, I actually like to play it at 1.25 or 1.5 times speed, just so I can get through the podcast quicker. And if I'm doing an Audible book or something like that, you can learn a little bit faster. Obviously, the voice speeds up, but try it out. It's a little productivity hack. In addition to the progress bar, we now have better routes available. So if you're on a journey, at the top here of your Tesla, if a better route comes up, it's going to display that option. A little bit like we've had in Apple Maps and Google Maps and Waze for a very long time, but it's never really been available in the Tesla. So you'll get a few seconds to decide if you want to accept it or not. If you ignore it, I believe that it will actually select that new route. So make sure you have that switched on. Wipers, they've finally improved them. Well, kind of, not really. The wipers are the bane of my life, probably the bane of yours. One of the worst features, I'm just going to say it, in the Tesla Model 3. They come on when it's sunny, they don't come on fast enough when it's rainy, but now we get to control the speed by using the little scroll wheel here, left and right. Makes it a little bit easier, but in my opinion, it doesn't improve the accuracy of the rain sensing at all. But next up, if you live in the UK, this is something that I think is the bane of all of our lives. It's those average speed check zones. Pretty much wherever I drive in the country, probably wherever you live, there's these average speed check zones. Now, the Tesla is going to feature those, and it's going to show you your average speeds throughout the journey. So you'll know if you're going a little bit too quick or maybe even a little bit too slow through those average speed check zones. So that's a new feature. If you want to turn it on, you need to go to navigation and make sure you have your online routing turned on. Again, unfortunately, this is a premium connectivity feature because you do need a live internet connection for that to work. Another little feature they've added, and it was in a previous update, is the ability to see speed cameras when you're traveling on a route. The only problem was it didn't actually come up with any audible notification. So now we have an audible speed camera notification. And if you want to turn it on, here's how. Next up is a feature that actually came out on a previous update, but I know a lot of you have not had an update for a long amount of time, so I'm going to mention this one. It's the new adaptive matrix headlights. Yes, finally, it means we have this new feature unlocked on our Tesla Model 3. So this has always had matrix headlights, but they've never unlocked the feature so that the car can black out other cars. So how it works essentially, if you have your full beams on a normal car, you may have to turn them off, obviously, when another car comes towards you so you don't blind them. What matrix headlights do is they actually direct and block out parts of the headlight. So if you have your full beams on and you're coming down the road and there's a car coming towards you, it will actually block out that part of light. So you're not blinding that car in front of you, but you're still getting your full beams. I've tried this out at night around here in Cornwall, where we have incredibly sort of tight and narrow roads, and this works really, really well. It's been updated again a little bit more, so it works even better with pedestrians and cyclists as well. To turn this on, go to lights and then adaptive high beams. Next up, some kind of minor undocumented changes. The first one is we have app changes to the Tesla Theatre, the Toy Box and Arcade. Before they were all lumped together, now they are separate apps and no longer in a tab. A minor change, but it's there. Next up, you'll see this new app here. It says the Nav app. So I thought, ooh, is this like Waze or something else? No, it's unfortunately just a shortcut to the navigation app. So let's just say you had your browser full screen. Instead of swiping down or pressing the cross, you can just tap that nav and it will just take you back to the map view. So just a shortcut to get you to the map view. And then we have a few changes to the menu system here. So you'll see that the second one down now says dynamics. So instead of steering being kind of like sport, I can't remember what it was before. I think it was standard, normal, sport, something like that. Now it's light, standard and heavy, which I think is probably the best way to describe it. It just changes the way that the steering feels. You've got different stopping modes. I know on some cars they actually removed the creep and the roll, so that's now back for everyone, so you can creep, roll and hold. And in some cars as well, depending on the battery you've got, you can also change the regen in your car. In my car, I don't have that option here, but it's worth checking if you have it in yours. Now, one of the changes we do have is this new sort of car design here. It's a little bit more fluid. The model is a little bit more improved, but what you'll notice now is we have these little dots around the car. So mine seems a little bit slow actually. When I move the car around, it takes a while before I can actually activate any of these dots. So if I move this around and then tap step in the boot, it came up a little bit quicker there, but sometimes it can take a few seconds to pop up. But when it does pop up, you now have these cards that open, and you can now press open and open the boot and open the frunk and things like that, like you could before. What's different here on the boot, I've noticed, it now has a pause button there. So let's try it out. So if we open the boot, we can now pause it and it will pause the boot in that area. Handy if you're somewhere where you think you might hit the roof or you've changed your mind and you actually want to close it, try it out. You can now pause the boot opening and closing. Now, other than that, there's not really a lot of changes to this 3D model. As I've said, it takes a second or two for mine to kind of reset and then show the icon. So I would like that improved a little bit, because sometimes when I want to open the boot, I've noticed there's sometimes 2 or 3 seconds before I can actually even tap that open boot button. So let me know in the comment section below, if you've got a 2020, 2021, 2022 Tesla, are you seeing the same thing there? So there you go, they are some of the new features in this brand new Tesla update. What do you think about these? Let me know if you have one of the newer cars and how you're getting on, and let me know how you feel if you're an Intel Atom processor Tesla owner like me and you're not getting some of these new updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.